My wife screamed at our newborn, vanished for 3 years, then reappeared with a rich husband and a lawyer, demanding full custody of the daughter she never wanted. But she had no idea what I'd been quietly building. The first word my daughter ever said was stop. Not mama, not dada, stop. Because for the first year of her life, that was the word she heard most. Me begging her mother to stop screaming, stop throwing things, stop making our baby so terrified she wouldn't even cry anymore. Lily just sat there, silent, still, a scared little thing who had learned that noise brought danger, that destroyed me. My wife, I'll call her Karen, developed severe postpartum after we brought Lily home. The doctors warned us about mood swings. What we got was something else entirely. She'd hurl objects across the room. She'd shriek at Lily for crying. She once looked me dead in the eyes while I begged her to get help, and her face was just empty, stone cold. I locked myself in Lily's room that night, held her for 3 hours straight. The divorce nearly finished me. Karen was vicious. She showed up to court with photos of self-inflicted bruises on her arms, claimed they were mine. I was terrified she'd point the finger at Lily next, so I folded. I gave up the house. I walked out with nothing but my daughter and the cheapest one-bedroom apartment I could scrape together. Moving day felt like the world was ending, and then Lily bit my thumb. Dada, she said, giggling. First time she'd ever called me that. I almost collapsed right there on the bare apartment floor. That one tiny word rewired me completely. I barely slept for months, ate almost nothing so she could have new clothes and toys. My eye bags were permanent. I felt like a zombie most days. But then she'd smile at me, this ridiculous, unguarded, full-body smile, and I'd set my alarm for 4 hours later and do it all again. Slowly, Lily changed. She went from silent and terrified to screaming her head off every time she needed a diaper change. Most parents would have been annoyed. I thought it was the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard. She was healing. She started demanding cuddles, refusing to sleep without a story. Then one random Wednesday, I came home from work to find her drawing. Close your eyes, Daddy. So I did. When I opened them, she was holding up a piece of paper. 2 stick figures holding hands, and scrawled across the top in wobbly letters, "Best dad ever. I love you." I cried on her shoulder. She fake cried back just to make me laugh. Best day of my life. 6 days later, I got served with court papers. Karen was back. 3 years of total silence. Not a single call, not a birthday card, nothing. And now she wanted full custody. Not shared, not visitation. Full custody. Turns out she'd married some loaded guy named Derek. Big house, fancy neighborhood, private school connections. And suddenly she remembered she had a daughter. Her lawyer painted a beautiful picture in that courtroom. Loving mother, transformed woman, superior resources. He practically had a PowerPoint of their swimming pool and the princess bedroom they'd already built for Lily. My lawyer Sarah countered with 5 years of receipts, school records, and a glowing letter from Lily's teacher about the quiet, frightened girl who had become the most social kid in class. The judge ordered a full evaluation. Both homes, both parents. I scrubbed our apartment spotless. Lily proudly showed the evaluator her books and her stuffed animals, and the wall where we hung all her drawings. She chattered for 20 straight minutes without stopping. 2 weeks later, the evaluator submitted his report. Karen sat in that courtroom like she'd already won. Derek beside her, their expensive lawyer in his tailored suit. Judge Taylor put on her glasses and began to read. Dr. Williams found Mr. Thompson's home to be warm, stable, and entirely appropriate for Isabella's needs. I felt the air leave Karen's lungs from across the room. More concerning is the pattern of Mrs. Parker Donnelly's attempts to influence the child outside proper channels. Despite making no effort to be present in her life for 3 years prior, Karen stood up so fast her chair scraped across the floor. This is ridiculous. I'm her mother. Mrs. Parker Donnelly. The judge's voice cut through the room like a blade. Sit down, or I will hold you in contempt. Primary custody stayed with me. Supervised visits for Karen. Parenting classes required. As we walked out of that courtroom, I finally exhaled for the first time in months. And then Karen stopped me in the parking lot. She looked at me with that same stone-cold stare from 5 years ago and said, very quietly, "This isn't over." She was right. Because 3 months later, a process server showed up at my door again. New filing, new demands. And this time, there was something in those papers I hadn't seen coming. Something that made my blood run cold. Full story on channel linked below.